Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support and any kind of news and updates. Usually, I go about on Twitter X. If not mistaken, this is my first uh, gaming news program of the year. With that said, hope you have a wonderful year. This upcoming year, hopefully, everything will straighten up. That is messed around. But yeah. Um, I still need to do the channel update of my upcoming scheduled release, what I plan to play, and a lot of stuff. But I don't know. Give me a week or so. I did manage to publish a Sharkpunk demo. I also played the Spiritfarer game demo, but I think I have an issue with the recording software. I need to probably replay that. It's a kind of a shorter demo, around half an hour, if not mistaken. But this one, I think I didn't even complete the Sharkpunk demo in its entirety. At least it's what it seemed. I didn't want to overstretch too much. I wanted to do the battle phase and then the preparation and the squad management stuff there. But yeah, very interesting game, a very hard game from what it seems, from what I played. Very hard on the management kind of a thing there. And the combat is very interesting. It's turn-based combat with some tweaks here and there of the normal XCOM formula. But yeah, other than that, I also tweaked a little bit here. The active gameplay series is just still going for Midnight Suns. I think today is Friday. Later today, I will publish a Midnight Suns episode. We are basically almost ending there. I think three more episodes, and we managed to wrap up there on this series. This pretty good game. I really did enjoy this game a lot. And then afterwards is the Callisto Protocol that I managed to claim for free on Epic Game Store. And in the meantime, I will try to see what kind of demos I might have missed from my wish list on Steam and play them and trying to see if it is something that I want to maintain on the Steam wish list to be able to buy and play those games afterwards. Some of them I will play by myself. Others I think might be some interesting things to showcase on the gameplay series that I've been doing for the last years. Um, and then what we get here, I just put basically Elden Ring, the VOD from the base game and the expansion that I did from the streams that I managed to do there with Elden Ring. And again, live streams. Let's see what I can do here with that Stranding. It's a little bit difficult for me to arrange a good amount of chunks of time to have like 2 to 3 hours to make a live stream and play the game there. But it's something that I really want to do by my at least try to see if, because I'm very interested on the upcoming Dead Stranding too. But yeah, other than that, 4K are the most recent ones. 1080p are more the more older ones. Let's say before the interruption of around 6 years ago, move out of the country and all that jazz. Um, I managed to bought in this last winter sale the remakes of all Resident Evil. So Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4 remakes. It had a package. I will eventually restart replaying all the Resident Evil remakes, 2, 3, 4, and then I will jump eventually to Resident Evil 7 and then Village. But yeah, other than that, at this moment in time, I'm trying to focus basically on wrapping up Midnight Suns, introduce the Callisto Protocol, and then we'll see forward what we can do here. So let's go to news again. A lot of stuff regarding hardware and the such. I'm avoiding covering the GPU stuff that it's going to be announced in a week or so. So I don't think it's not even a week, in almost a couple of days. So I don't want to bother too much on finalized leaks, and there is a lot of stuff here. Kind of confirm the rumors and all the jazz that are already covered to a certain extent. So I don't think it's worth checking that. I will wait until the keynotes are taken. and announce and all that jazz, and see all the official details from NVIDIA, AMD, and all whatever we're going to see on the CES stuff there. Um, Interesting thing is this is very restricted to Germany, but seems that the 9800 X3D is yeah, is selling like hotcakes in Germany from Mind Factory alone, which is like a big retailer like Micro Center in the US. Very similar in that sense. They sold over 8,600 units to date, uh, which is more than all the Ryzen, the Zen 5 lineup sold by itself there, which is something interesting to see. As you can see here, 8650, while the 9600X, not even 1000, and then the other ones didn't sold that much. The only one of reference is the 9700X, which is the best value per se because it's got 8 cores. It performs very similar to the 7700X, which is the one that I have here that I bought uh, almost a couple of years ago. But yeah, interesting. The best unit sold is the 7800 X3D. Again, it's been out for a while. Uh, Again, and I think the 9800 X3D didn't sell even more because of stock. Again, I don't think they are able to produce there is a lot of demand for this chip. Um, I think here and there you can find some inventory with some deals, but still it's a little bit over the MSRP price, which demonstrates to a certain extent that yes, there is still a lot of demand for this CPU. Again, it's the best CPU around, at least for gaming. Of course, for productivity, you still have very well rounded the 7950s, and then the 9950Xs also. Again, but they are way more expensive, and in terms of gaming they pale in comparison with the 9800 X3D. And still the 7800 X3D is still if you find it on the cheaper side, I think it's still more than a viable option as a second contender to the 9800 X3D. And from the AMD lineup from the last couple of generations, from Zen 4 and Zen 5, I think the 7700X is still, for example, on hardware on box, is still very good on price to performance in terms of gaming, on how it delivers. It competes. It doesn't compete, but it stays in the top three, sometimes top four, depending on the game itself. But again, taking into account that I'm not counting with the 7900 X3D because then again only one CCD has the X3D cache. Again, the 8 cores like one CCD. X3D, I think the 7700X stays on the top three on that on those benchmarks that we've been seeing from, especially from Hardware Unbox and Gamers Nexus. Yeah, interesting numbers here. Let's see how it goes in terms of the new GPUs that they got here. On also on the CES 2025, we might see the launch of HDMI 2.2. Again, there was an email sent around. I don't know, for the people that are going to go there. Again, no specifications. It's just basically a tease that it has new specification with higher bandwidth, but again, no details regarding that. But similarly, we're going to see the launch of this version, the 2.2. Again, the 2.1 HDMI 2.1 standard is still very pale in comparison with DisplayPort 2.1a, which has the double of bandwidth. Even though on AMD cards is still, and also Intel, it has some limitations on that. But again, the main thing is DisplayPort is still better for PC gaming. So when you connect a GPU to the monitor, it's always recommended DisplayPort because usually it has always higher bandwidth. The cables are good. Even the connection is way more secure, and it offers more higher resolutions with more frame rates and even HDR. Even if you want to play HDR, it's recommended to get the full advantage of that to use DisplayPort. And again, DisplayPort 2.1 or 2.18, depending also of your requirements there. But yeah, hopefully we might see some uh, I don't know. Hopefully, they will start to be more competitive, at least in terms of specification with DisplayPort, so everybody can push a little bit over to each other, so you can have better stuff for the final customer. In terms of games, don't forget. Um, uh, sorry, Elden Ring Nightreign. I still didn't get used to this name. Network test registration January 10th, so around from 7 days from now at the time of the recording, and it will take place on February. This network test, I will try and get myself registered on the 10th of January to see if I can play a little bit of this. But yeah, don't forget it. Again, as the time comes near, I will remember everybody to don't so you don't forget to check out this at least this note test, so we can have a better idea what this game is about. Then we got a little bit of news here regarding Tango Gameworks. They made now a public statement. Just a quick recap that Tango was closed down alongside with Arcane Austin, Alpha Dog Games, and Roundhouse Studio. That this studio was afterwards assimilated by ZeniMax Online for the Elder Scrolls Online, I think. So they were assimilated there. Arcane Austin, I think this is the same studio that, if not mistaken, launched Prey and Dishonored game series. Yeah, they shut down, was a shame out of nowhere. Um, Even though this happened before, after, sorry, Microsoft had previously stated they wanted to add more Asian developers. So Asian developers in the sense that have an Asian studio with kind of more focus on that creativity side of things and take on games. But yeah, in the meantime, I covered this that Krafton entered in secret negotiations per se with Microsoft to try to acquire the Tango Gameworks, and they did manage to do so in a certain way. Not completely. They didn't take over the IPs that they made. So the IPs, The Evil Within, and I think Ghostwire Tokyo stay within Microsoft. The only IP they took with the studio was Hi-Fi Rush, which is in the game that they are working on supposedly. So the sequel to Hi-Fi Rush, and the I think it was a tweet. They mentioned Tango Gameworks Studio as reborn as Tango Gameworks Inc. Probably join Crafton Inc. We're excited to continue crafting games that bring joy to players around the world. Thank you for continued support as we embark on this new journey. Again, it's one of those cases that even though when we launch good games I think the sales were over what they expected, but still was supposedly not good enough for Microsoft. Again, it's a little bit baffling what they did there regarding with the studio. People were expecting a little bit more, probably from the Evil Within saga, and also a sequel from Ghostwire Tokyo, which seemed it was very well received. Also, the only issue that I had, I'm not sure how in trouble was the studio, because the studio director, the guy that founded the studio, I completely forgot his name. I'm sorry. He it just exit the studio. So and then afterwards, this thing happened. I don't know if he had any warnings regarding that situation. But yeah, so far Tango Gameworks, which again, Evil Within, they are pretty good settings and interesting things on the horror aspect of things. I still didn't play Ghostwire Tokyo. I think I did manage to claim this game for free on Epic Game Store. But yeah, there is a lot of promise from the Evil Within, even though in terms of execution of the gameplay mechanics, they are not perfect, but yeah, they have their own take, and hopefully they can improve or at least come up with a new IP for a horror game. Because I really did enjoy these two games that they launched. Continuing, now we have confirmation regarding why Black Myth Wukong didn't come out to Xbox. It was more than perceivable that it was because of Xbox Series X. I remember commenting on this some months ago when supposedly the game was to come out to Xbox, but it was delayed. A lot of people were rumoring that it was because that they had a secret agreement with PlayStation. Again, it didn't make a lot of sense given that they are not a first party studio or any kind of thing like that. It made more sense that the fact that the game is a little bit demanding and the fact that they are new studios, so they don't have a lot of experience with optimizing for consoles. If not, I think that was the issue. And basically now the president and founder of Game Science, clarified the absence by the fact that the main reason is really the Xbox Series X, which is the weaker hardware. And because of the fact for you to launch a game on Xbox, you need to launch for both Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X. So both of the hardware stuff. And I think this is going to stick around for a couple of years, even after they release a new hardware from Xbox. Because not only retro compatibility in the sense that uh, they will be living together these two generations for at least a few years. So unless they just completely cut off Xbox Series X when the new Xbox generation comes, I don't know what they're going to do here because it will stifle the sales. Because if you are mandated to launch a game on Xbox, taking in account on Xbox Series X, it's going to be a pain, especially on these new studios. Because again, they are very new studio. They don't have a lot of experience on optimization for Xbox Series S, and they admit it as much. But yeah, as I said, you have to launch on Xbox ecosystem. They need to be played on Xbox Series S. And we had other games that had the same issue that were. The studios had a lot of difficulties optimizing for the Series S there, and some of them were delayed. Then was a lot of confusion. Yeah, but the fact that you are dependent on a weaker than the base hardware that you have, even though it's cheaper, but I don't think the price um, does compensate you to get a little bit cheaper console. Just you play games in the worst with the worst experience than the base console per se. But yeah, people that only have Xbox to play, they are not having a good time, and they are missing out on Black Myth Wukong. And then lastly, we got here just a quick roundup here. We got Steam Replay, which is basically what we called they called year in review. Some interesting things here that again I watched mine. I didn't share it. Again, I didn't play huge amounts of games, so that's one of those things. But the interesting thing is the fact that it compares our activity with the percentage of with the general public or Steam users, and we see that a lot of people didn't play very recent games or new games because they classified new releases were games launching that year or released that year. Got recent releases, which was games that were released between 1 year, so 2023, and below until 7 years, so 2015, if not mistaken. And then we got classic games, which are very more older games, so 8 years or older. And we see that, yeah, 15% of people only played, sorry, people only played 50% of their games on games launched that year. And again, I will assume a lot of them, for example, on Steam, were like Helldivers games, games like this, um, probably Black Myth Wukong, like very recent, like these kind of huge sales that these games had. We can count that those games were played for sure. And this shows that again the quality of more recent games, especially in 2024, are highlighted by they have they are very slop jobs from Assassin's Creed. The Assassin's Creed's upcoming game for sure is going to be a shit show. We got Star Wars Outlaws, not good. Again, there is a lot of these ones: Concord, Dragon Age, Dustborn. Again, it's an indie game in terms of sales. So, got the Awakening. Supposedly was supposed to be groomed as a huge IP with transmedia all over the place. Transmedia in the sense, sorry, of movies, comic books, series, animated stuff. There, Forspoken was also touted as something huge, also which failed miserably. But yeah, as you can see, this year was very good in some very specific games, like Black Myth, Wukong, and the such. But yeah, even Stellar Blade, but that was on PlayStation, so it doesn't count here on the thing here for the Steam here in the review. But yeah, um, I people are voting with the wallets. If they see that the product is not good, they will not buy it. They prefer to or catch up with the backlog that they had with in the Steam games that they had already bought. Catch up with those or replay those. Basically, that's the majority of things. And again, there is a lot of good games that are 2, 3, 4 years old, even older games. Sometimes I pick up, I buy those games, older games, and they are still very enjoyable, even in terms of visual quality and all that jazz. And they are fun to play. And interestingly enough, from the games that I bought this year, was Elden Ring stuff, and then a lot of them have been indie games. I managed to buy Planet of Lana, Jusant. What else? The other one was Firewatch. Um, uh, I don't remember. Then the bigger ones are Resident Evil remakes because I was interested. But yeah, it's one of those things. You just go for what it seems good, and you get fed up when the DIY mafia try to input certain things on you. But yeah, interestingly, only 50% of total playtime, which is interesting, playtime spent on new releases, which says a lot that, again, the quality, even though we had excellent launches in 2024, again, a lot of what was touted as one of the best year of games, a lot of it was destroyed IPs. They just butchered existing IPs. Again, Star Wars and Dragon Age and all that jazz. That they butchered those IPs with sloppy games. But yeah, basically that is it in terms of news. Starting off slow and try to get more news coming up. Again, CS is going to be a busy week for the next year. For the next week is going to be very busy. I will try to do my best to cover interesting stuff that might come out of there. But yeah, let's go from some gaming deals. Not much happening again. Yesterday the winter sales are over, so there is not a lot that you can take off. We got BioShock remastered franchise. We got the BioShock the collection. I will leave it on the description below. So all the games. So the remastered version BioShock 1 and 2, plus BioShock Infinite and all the DLCs associated with the free games are on the cheap, around 80% or so. It's very cheap, around $12. I think it's still a pretty decent, solid trilogy. I played all of them at the time where they come. Then I rebought. I still have this one on the wish list, but yeah, I remember playing those games. And then I did a series on Bioshock Infinite. But yeah, still good games. Yeah, it's one of those that I really recommend. And then lastly, we got Wall World. Again, even though it's not on sale, I really do recommend this game even at full price. It's only $7 or so, and I recommend also afterwards buying the Deep Threat. Again, I played this game already. If you like the kind of tower defense, the mining stuff, and then the roguelike aspect of the runs that you do, this is a very good game. I really do recommend, even at full price. But yeah, this is it for today. I'm going to wrap up here with a plug on my Patreon as usual for extra support. This extra support at this moment in time is for me to try and get around and probably find a better storage solution so I can have backups of stuff that I do for my clients, and of course some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a full day. Now see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.